Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to complete the fairy ears that we started yesterday in our part 1 of our fairy ears video. So we made these blanks yesterday, these base pieces yesterday. They're cool. And so now we're going to put the pieces on the ears to finish them off. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. Again, here are our base pieces that we made in our video yesterday. And here are the pieces we're going to use to decorate them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of these, and they're going to be wire wrapped along the edge of her ear, and then we're going to use some E6000 and glue this flower across here. Prior to gluing the flower on, though, we're going to use these purple rondelles and these green bicones, and we're going to decorate up the side where the pieces aren't. So this will sit in here like this. We'll put the green ones over here and the purple ones on this side, or we could do either every other one. We'll see what I decide to do. But first thing we want to do is we've got some 24 gauge German style gold wire, and we're going to wire wrap these pieces onto the bases. So these little guys will be the last thing we do, and we're going to start by getting out some of our wire. Now I'm not exactly sure how much we'll need, so I'm just going to get like a foot, maybe a little more, and we'll start this up. So what I'm going to do to start is we're going to take and we're going to wrap right here on this side. Not very much, because the wire, the embellishment is just going to be starting right up here in this corner. So we'll shove that down there. I've wrapped that around there. Now we'll bring the first of these pieces up, and you can see we have a hole here and we have some other holes along the edges here. So because I want this to snug up to this side here, like so, we're going to take this wire and we're going to go down one of these little slots that this side has on it. Now this is a thin wire, and it's really going to try to fight with you on this bend and everything else like that. And you'll just have to convince it not to do that. Now this rolled around to the back. I don't want it on the back, so we'll pull it back forward here. Slide it back where we want it, because I want that point to be up at the top, remember? So then we're going to, again, now we'll go through the next hole up here. And you're going to want to pull on that to tighten it. And I do believe this just went over my other one, which I don't want it to do, so we're going to wiggle it some to go where we want it to be at. I use my thumbnails a lot for my wire wrapping. So now we've got that there. Now we're going to take it again, and we've got that next hole, and we're just going to keep going through the holes. That are along the edges of our little filigree piece here. Now see, we've got this here. It wants to slide to the back still. So we're going to have to, and it's sliding downward, so we're going to pull it back up. Now we're going to bring this wire that we just finished here over a little bit to this side so we can go through this next slot. Now this next slot is longer, so it's going to be gone through more than once. Come on, you, go through. Okay. Now I'm going to bring it back again, and we'll go through again with just a little bit of space so that it's got a little bit of room between the two of our pull through. See, there we go. Tighten that up. Now we need to study this place and see if we can go one more time through here, which we could right here, or we can move in a bigger loop, but I'm going to try to do one more in here because the more the better. So there we go. Now we can look at the other side, see how it's doing. It seems to be fine, not too loose or anything like that. See how that's sitting sideways there. So that's good. Now we're going to go into our next loop up. No, you don't get to go over your buddy there. Get over there. Tighten it up. Now if you need to, you can always use your pliers to tighten if you have to do that. And we're just going to keep going up these loops till we get to the point where it's not going to get over to the bar anymore, which is just one or two more. I want these to fall over here more, so we're going to pull it up, push it there. Now I think we'll try one more because we've got, this one's not really close, but it's closer than it could be. So we'll pull this one up. Okay. Now we have our second one. We're going to want it to go in like here. But since we're not going to get there for a little while, and we don't want to make big gaps here, what we're going to do is just wrap around this bar like so. Make it be sort of decorative, not that it makes any difference because our flower is going to go over there, but we do want our wire to come down here, and this is the easiest way to walk it down. Now I could have just closed it off and started with a new wire, but I prefer to do it this way. So now that we've got that there, if we want, we can take our nylon jaw pliers and squish these down some. So that they're sturdily in place. So now we're going to grab our second one. It's right here. And as you can see, this first this ring is at is right beside where this one's at. So we're going to just bring that through here. Pull it tight. And this one actually should probably be a little looser, but that's all right, because we're going to, like I say, we're going to take, once we get these both in here, we're going to take our flower piece and put it over the edge here to bring those together a little more. So we're also going to take some wire and we're going to bring these together right here. This one's trying to sink around to the back again. So now we're going to go down here and we're just going to do this one again like we would like we did the other one. Just go down here about 3 times and then keep going down the edge until we get to the point where, and this is going over its buddy here. We don't want that to happen. And we're going to go down the edge here until we are fine with where it's sitting. And then we'll come up with another little bit of wire and hook these two together. So we just keep wire wrapping this until we get to the bottom. Now once you get to the bottom and you're finished, since we're going to have, looks like we're going to have some wire left, if I wanted to, which I'm not sure I do, I could just keep going with this piece of wire to put on the jewels that I'm going to put on. Now this one seems to want to, there we go, got it tightened. Because this side's probably only going to have maybe 3 to 5 jewels on it because of having the pieces here. Like I say, we can just go down the side and decide which color we're going to put on this side, the green or the purple or both. Probably the green on this side, I think. So we can just go down the line to put the green on if we want. I'm going to put one more in here, which I didn't up above because it would have been this one right here, but we are going to put it here because it is the bottom here. And now, as you can see, I do have quite a bit of wire left. I'm going to squish these down, and then I'm going to do 3 or 4 wraps right here. And I'm going to put them right beside each other because I do have enough wire here that I am going to put my jewels on, I think. Because once we hook these two together a little better and put our flower on here, see, it's going to look like so. Then we just have to have our jewels down this side. So that's what this is going to look like when we have it to that point. So let's get some jewels out. I think I'm going to go with the green, like I said, on this side, and then we will do purple on the other, and we have to hook these two together. So let's get some little green jewels out. I think we probably want 3 to 5. So we'll just I will put that little pile out there, and we will start hooking these bicones on. Little purple ones are actually rondelles, so they are a little different than these. So 1, 2, and the 3. And on 3, we put our jewel on and move it to the front here and hold it in place while you then do your holding wire and then your wrapping wire. I think it looks like we're going to probably have enough room for 5, so we'll do that. So hold it down, bring your wire around, tighten it up, and then another, and then your next jewel will go on right here. Over, up, 1, 2, and then this is going to be our last jewel that we're going to put on this side. Put it over here, 1, 2, but now instead of just stopping at 2, we're going to do 3 or 4 wraps here because this is our ending point. 4. So there is our jewels down this side. And if you need to do some adjustment, you can definitely do that. Then we're going to cut our extra wire off and tuck it in and get another small piece. This one I don't think is quite long enough to do our, to hook our two pieces together here. So I'm going to get these pliers and push them, the wires down onto our bar. And then we'll have to get that next little piece of wire out. Set the other stuff aside. Now we have this piece in. Now I'm going to get another little piece of wire so we can just do a few wraps here to hold this from wobbling together. Of course, when I glue it, it would hold it together some also, but I'm just going to get a few inches. Like so much. And we're going to bring this in here and go down here. Now we're not really going to do any holding wraps on this because we're going to be going just back and forth between the two base pieces here. Come on, you go in there right. There we go. Now, so we've got this one piece. And we'll go up this way, then we'll pull this one down, and it'll go through the next. And I'm going to take my pliers because this is not being way cooperative, but so I'm going to take my pliers to pull it through. And you see it's pretty big like stitches there. So we don't want very many of them anyway because they are going to show better than I'd like them to. So push this one down over here where I've got the closer to the other one. And we will just go through this again. Which is more or less the same spot as where the original one went through. Just a little bit further up. And it's going to want to be pulled with the pliers too, because we're really close here. And it wants to kink up. See how it's doing that right now? And I don't want it to do that, obviously, so we gotta just keep convincing it needs to go with us here. And it's not really wanting to be convinced, but we will get it. Just sometimes have to work at it a while and convince it that you're the boss rather than it. Okay, that's probably all I'm going to do on that side. Strange, that almost looks like there's only 2 wires going through and there should be 3, but whatever. Now this one will go right here. Come on, you, right here. Pull it up. And then it's going to go down through this spot right here. So, where are you? There you are. Pull you, and then we will just, there we go, bring it back here, and we're going to bring these both back in over into these areas here, and we're going to get some of our more clippers and clip these off. And then we'll take our pliers and go in from this side and squish things down a little bit. Now I will admit that's not the prettiest right there, but, and like I say, I could have left that off because I am going to put the flower here with glue and it would hold it somewhat. But I'm also, like I say, going to put this flower on here and it's going to go over these stitches a bit. So that once it goes on, it'll be right like that. So now we need to get another piece of wire and some of our little purple crystals and do this side. Oh, I definitely don't need that many. I wanted quite a few because I think we're going to do at least 9 or 10 on this side, but I don't know that we'll need that many. There, we'll just leave that much out for right now, and we'll get more if we need it, or put the rest away if we don't need it. So now what we need to do is get some more wire out. Maybe a little bit more than that. I guess I'll go about, no, let go halfway. So now what we want to do is we're going to wrap, and you can start at top or bottom. I actually like to work from left to right, so I will probably do my wraps and then push this one down, and then we'll just go up. It doesn't matter where you start because you know where you want to stop at, and we're going to go all the way up to our filigrees. So and if we get up there and we've discovered that it's too tight or too loose, that's also easily fixed. We just have to spread our wire out a little bit. So we're going to slide that down, and now we will start putting our up beads on. So, whoop, whoop, come here you. So we push that to the inner side, bring our wire, tighten it up, go through again. Now you can see how I'm crisscrossing those wires as I go through, and that's because I have those openings. There's no sense in having to push the wire through if you have an opening to go into. So hold it tight over here. Now this one's already moving. I don't want it moved. So we're going to we have 2 on there now, see? Though they're a little loose, so I'll probably push them down a little more. And we'll just keep going up the line until we get up to the top up here. So there's how it's going to look as it goes up the edge here. And we just keep feeding the beads on and go up the side like I'm doing right here. Go 1, 2, and the bead goes on right here on this side here. So feed on the bead, let it slide down, hold it in place, bring this wire around once and twice. And then our next bead goes on right here. 2. So we'll just keep going like that until we get all the way up to the top. Now this is the last one I'm going to put on, which will be 11 on this side. So slide down onto the spot there. And then one last loop, and we'll cut this wire off. And then we will have all the crystals down the sides. Okay, that's trying to loop over its buddy there beside it. We don't want it to do that. So we'll have to bring it out until it's not doing it anymore. There we go. So we'll cut this off right here and down here. Then we'll tuck these wires in. Okay, now these have wiggled to the other side. I don't want them over there, so we're going to wiggle them back this direction. And so there we go. Now this one is done other than gluing on its flower, which will go right here. So there's one, and like I said, until we get the flower glued on, that one is not quite done, but this one, other than that, it is done. So we'll sit it aside, and we're going to pull this one out and start working on it. Now we'll do this one exactly the same way. Okay, so that's, these are the beads I will need when I get to that point. So I can put the rest of these beads away. And so we got those put away. Now we'll get a new piece of wire out, and we're going to start doing this side exactly how we did this one, with this piece here and then this piece here. So let's get our wire out and we'll get started on that. By all rights, this should be our last one, but it was a little higher on the other ear. So let's find out how many we've got for sure on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This one has, and it's turned a little bit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we do have 11. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my wraps here. And then we're going to pull it up, because we want it to be up here further than it is. So this side's pretty good, So we're just gonna sit and adjust our spacing here by just carefully pulling these up so that they come up here, like so. And I think they're probably at about the same spot there. So then we'll cut our wire off. We have quite a bit of extra again, though I'm not going to need that, so I'll probably set it aside for if I need it for a different project. To put this wire down. Oh, it just came undone. Come here, you. Now what I'm accidentally doing is knocking it back to the back after I've got it tightened a little bit, and so I need to get it up there. Now we'll do this, cut this one off here and tighten it. And it's actually, I think, down a little lower than it should be, so we may push the whole thing up a little bit, because you see it's a little bit down on this spot right here than the other one is. Now see how I pushed it up just now? Now we can just keep doing that with the other beads and just bring them up here closer. And that's as far up as we can go, obviously, because we've just hit our other wires. And it's actually, I think, higher up than this other one is, so we'll work this other one up just a little bit. So there they are. Now all they need is to have their piece glued here. But first, before I glue them, I'm going to take our nylon jaw pliers and we're going to squish here. Now we don't want to squish where the jewels are actually at. We just want to squish where the connections are at. So like right here and right here. And across, of course, where we had our connections at. So right there. Now we'll do that on this side again. Make sure we've got it good. Now we want to squish those end connections there a little bit. Make sure they're good and tight. And now we are done. Now we'll get our E6000 out, and we need to glue our flowers on to our pieces here, like so. And then they'll be done. Okay, so I've got my silicone mat out, and I've got my E6000 out. Now this isn't going to come out very fast because I accidentally busted the tip off of it. So it will only come out where... So we just will squish this and then try and fill this flower and leaf piece up as best we can. Now this would be coming out a lot faster if I hadn't busted the tip off. And in coming out faster would actually be less controllable. But it actually could come out a lot faster and I'd be happier. So we want to make sure we get glue on all pieces of our component here so that it'll stick good into our fairy ear. Okay. So now this one, we now need to flip without getting glue all over my fingers, hopefully, and put it down where we want it on our component here. So there we go. Let's see. Now see, it's trying to pop up just a little bit right here, so we need to convince it not to. And in actuality, I may need to pin it. Now I've got these tiny little clothespins, and they work great for pinning these little components down that need to be pinned. So until they dry for a little while. So I expected you to really be dripping right now, but you're not. Darn it. I was hoping it would be. So now we need to do our second. Now if you need to, because that's a filigree, this is getting glued too, and we'll see if it needs it after I get this one on. You can take a little glue okay. Now I'm going to flip this and put it in place. And now we'll get a little bit of, we'll get some pins and pin this down. And I think I've got it at about the same place as its mate is over there. Looks like it. So like I say, we'll get some pins and we'll pin this one in place. And they will have to dry for a little while. And then, but the other thing that we can do, well, this is drying some this direction. Come on, baby, go in there and get that flower. There we go. So once this, that you turn this, if you see that it doesn't look like it's going to stick down real good, now it's dripping. You can put a little more glue on this side to go through and hold it in place. So we'll put a little more glue here where the flower is sitting, which is right here. Let it go drip through the filigree to the flower, and that'll hold it again a little bit better. So now we just have to let these dry for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then we can take the pins off and they should be good to go, though I will admit that it takes 24 hours for your glue to dry entirely, and so that's where we're sitting. So won't those be pretty once they finish drying up? Okay, let's take the pins off and see how we're doing here. Looks like we're pretty good. Oops, that little flower piece just popped up. So I may have to add just a touch of glue down behind that flower to hold it better. See how we're doing here on this one. I think the same with this one. We're going to have to drop a little bit of glue in here to hold our flower petal here better. But as you can see, there it is. I'm just got to add a little more glue to those two spots, and there is our fairy ears. Didn't those turn out so pretty? Put our pins away, and we'll get our glue out just a little bit here. See if we can get a little more glue out to just see where we have this hollow spot right here. I'm going to try and ease a little glue into that spot there. And we could put a little more here where the flower is at here as well, just to make sure that it holds good. Now, I could put the pins back in place, obviously, since we're putting some more glue in, but I'm not sure we'll need to do that. But there we go. We've got a little more glue stuck on now, and hopefully that will take care of our popping up of our little flower piece right here. So there is what our ear wires look like. I would put one on and show it to you, but since we just re-glued it, I don't want to get glue in my hair, so we won't do that right now. I will try and post a picture at the back of the video with me wearing one of them, so you can see what it looks like. There are our ears. Here we go. They're done. There's one ear. This is this side. And then, of course, there's our other one, which will go here. And how this works is this wraps around your ear here. This bar goes behind your ear, and this comes and sits right on the front of your ear, and these go like so. It goes cute. So I think this one turned out quite pretty. I like it a lot. I probably am going to put, now maybe I won't because the glue is on this side and I don't want the pin to stick to our glue. So we'll just got to let it dry a bit, and then it can be worn if you want. But there they are. There's our fairy ears. This one looks so much bigger, but it's not really. But it might be a little bit wider. I'm probably going to have to adjust this one a little bit, one or the other of them, because one does look wider than the other one. Let's see if they are. Oh yeah, see, one is a little bit wider. See how it sticks out right there? So we will have to adjust that a little bit, but that's easy. Just have to push it down some. Yeah, that's better. Oops, backwards. There they are. This one still looks a teeny bit bigger, but we may just have to do a little bit more adjusting, but not too much. It's pretty good. So there's our ears. Hope you enjoyed making those with me. Aren't they pretty? I like them a lot. If I were going to keep a set, this might be the set I'd keep. But these are for my fairy festival that I will be doing, not this weekend, but next weekend. Again, there they go. This is this year. This is this year. So, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been making a beautiful pair of fairy ears. This is the finishing up of the decoration. We made the base yesterday. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.